Before the pyramids, before writing, before even agriculture, there may have been something else. A forgotten world, a story erased by time. Hi everyone. Hi there. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to discuss the idea that everything we know about human history started too late. What if everything we've learned about the timeline of humanity is wrong? It's over 12,000 years old. That's 7,000 years before the Great Pyramids. They left no written records, so we don't know their language or customs. There are no tombs or graves, so we don't know what they believed in the afterlife. A rise, a fall, and a rise again. It's possible that early humans built great structures, mapped the stars, and passed down stories that became distorted over time. And then a disaster came, wiping most of it away. All that was left were scattered survivors, myths, and ruins buried by time. Over thousands of years, we began again. And what we call history today is only the second or third chapter of our story. We may never know exactly what happened, but the clues are there in the stone, in the myths, and in the ruins still waiting to be found. We asked again what really happened before history. Archaeologist Gillian Moore said it's a puzzle without a picture book. It's frustrating because we can see their temples, but we can't read their story. Another discovery makes this mystery even deeper. In the area around Göbekli Tepe, there are springs of water that flow year-round, even in the hot Turkish summers. This means there was always water available, meaning these people didn't need to move around following herds like nomadic hunters. Instead, they could stay in one place and build permanent homes. Why would they leave behind such an advanced site and then disappear? Were they wiped out by a disaster, or did they simply move on to somewhere else? One theory suggests they continued on to the Indus Valley, where they built cities like Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa. These cities date back for 1,000 years, but archaeologists believe they could be much older. The structures were so sophisticated, they baffled even the experts. They show signs of advanced planning, including grids of streets, public bathrooms, and large buildings for public use. But then suddenly, about 1,800 years ago, the cities were abandoned. Some scholars say they were destroyed by invaders, but others argue that residents quietly moved away, leaving behind their homes. This has led some to speculate that the Indus people were actually the descendants of Göbekli Tepe builders, carrying their knowledge forward through time. This temple was built by unknown people, using massive stone pillars weighing tons. Places that seemed to be ancient cities now swallowed by rising seas. In Japan, the Yanaguni Monument. In India, off the coast of Dwarka, stone walls, pillars, steps, and patterns that look man-made, lying far below the surface. Mainstream archaeology often dismisses these as natural formations. But the locations match old legend stories of sunken kingdoms and lost lands. The problem is, if they really are ruins, then they were built before the Ice Age ended, when sea levels were over 100 meters lower than today. That would make them over 10,000 years old, older than any known city. Could these be remnants of an ancient civilization, one that was wiped out when the glaciers melted and oceans rose? The idea of a great flood destroying a previous world is not new. It appears in myths from every corner of the globe. The story of Noah in the Bible, the Epic of Gilgamesh from Mesopotamia, flood legends in India, China, South America, and even among Pacific Islanders. All speaking of a time when the gods or nature wiped away a former age. Now, scientists have discovered that around 10,800 BCE, the Earth experienced a sudden climate shift called the Younger Dryas. Massive floods swept across continents. Meltwater surged from glaciers, and some scientists believe this period could have destroyed coastal settlements, forcing survivors inland and into legend. There's more. There are signs that ancient people may have had knowledge we can't explain. Some researchers argue that the Great Sphinx of Giza shows signs of water erosion, not just wind and sand, which would suggest it's thousands of years older than the pyramids. It's possibly dating back to a time when heavy rainfall still reached Egypt over 10,000 years ago. Other discoveries raise more questions, like the Piri Reis map drawn in 1513, which shows parts of South America and even Antarctica with surprising accuracy, or mysterious artifacts that seem out of place, like stone spheres, advanced tools, and ancient carvings of flying machines. Tixace? These are coincidences or misinterpretations. But there are simply too many mysteries, too many gaps, and too many stories that line up from different parts of the world. Carved with animals, abstract symbols, and arranged in giant circles. But at that time, Humans supposedly had no farming, no wheels, and no metal tools. So how did they do it? No one can explain why such a structure was built. It served no obvious practical purpose. Some researchers believe it was spiritual, maybe even astronomical. But whatever it was, it changes everything, because it proves that humans were capable of complex, organized construction long before civilization was supposed to begin. Klaus Schmidt, the German archaeologist who spent decades excavating Göbekli Tepe, called it the most important prehistoric site in the world. He said it turned our understanding of history upside down. We used to think that agriculture led to village life, villages led to cities, and cities led to writing and technology. But now it seems like it may have been the other way around. Maybe humans developed culture and technology first, then later abandoned it. What if there was a huge gap in time between the first primitive human beings and the start of civilization? According to the conventional historical narrative, civilization began around 3000 BC with the invention of writing, the rise of Mesopotamia, and the building of cities. However, modern humans, people just like us, have existed for more than 300,000 years. So what happened in those hundreds of thousands of years? Were we just wandering hunters with no knowledge, no ideas, no culture? Or is there something missing from the official story? If you want to find out what secrets the past is hiding, stay tuned until the end of the video. You won't want to miss a thing. We're going to begin with one site that shouldn't exist, Göbekli Tepe in Turkey. Göbekli Tepe raises another question. Who were these people? But there's something else. As we mentioned earlier, there are ruins beneath the ocean. So what if human civilization isn't a straight line? What if it's a cycle? If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. Share it with your friends and subscribe to the channel to learn more about incredible discoveries from around the world. Thanks for watching. See you next time.